All right. Let's get started. Start by blowing my nose. I swear to God, I've had a runny nose for 2 years. Okay. Is this one? Yep. Alright, so I'm starting to make the top. Essentially it's going to be concentric circles that get bigger, 3 of them. They get bigger by 3/8 inch each time. I'm going to use this dowel to hold them all together. But 2 of the circles are going to come from the original stock, so I got to drill another perfectly centered hole in this thing. Some viewers on my last live stream showed me this little trick, which I may make a video about. I'm using the wrong pen. My thing is round and it keeps rolling, so I'm gonna go cut that off back there at the miter saw real quick. I'm not gonna drag you over here for this. Where's my flat pen go? There it is. It's not flat, it's just not as wobbly as that other pen I was using. Let's try this again. Damn. Now the pin's dying on me. Probably all plugged up with sawdust. There you go. Let's see, the little clean spot is the center. So if you're just tuning in, making the ornamental top of this paper towel holder, it's going to be 1, 2, 3. It's going to be 5 concentric circles. It gets bigger every other layer. This dowel will keep everything perfectly centered. But 2 of the rings is going to be from this original dowel, which is 1 1/4 inches. And it's going to have a 1/4 inch hole in the center of it. So now let's clamp this thing down. And drill a hole. Try to zoom in a little bit. Actually, that's flush with the table. See why in a second. Go get my drill guide. Now it's got to go at least 1 inch deep, because I need 2 1/2 inch rings. I'm hoping that's 1 inch deep. Let's see if that sticks 1 inch through the back. Yeah, it's way more than 1 inch. That's gotta be 1 1/8 inch, 1 inch and 1/8, because the saw blade. And I think to get identical sizes at the miter saw, I think I'm gonna have to use some blue tape and a stop block, because this might be a little sketchy of a cut. So let's head over to the miter saw. We'll set up a stop block and find a way to secure this thing. There you go, zoom out a little bit. So I want 2 wooden rings that are 1/2 inch thick. Pretty sure a 1/2 inch cut is going to shoot out the back. So I may put a piece of, no, I can't put a piece of duct tape there. Oh, yeah. Stop block, blue tape, super glue. Alright, let's find a stop block. So here's my normal stop block. Clearly that's too short. So we're going to add something in here. Alright, let's mark 1/2 inch. My thought is mark 1/2 inch on here, blue tape and super glue to the stop block. That way it doesn't just go flying out the back of my miter saw when it gets cut free. Never tried this before. Probably gonna go get the glasses. What's going on, Mike? You're up early, dude. What time is it there? That's probably 9 in the morning. Ooh, I ain't got much blue tape left, so we gotta make this work. Grab my super glue. Try to get both in there. Yeah, I ain't got much blue tape at all. What's going on, Ariana? I've reached an age where I wake up early for no reason. I've been up since 5:30. So I'm gonna put super glue on this end because I don't want to have to spray activator on my miter saw. I'm sure it's not good to breathe this activator, but there's something about it. I don't know. It kind of smells like a new shoe or something. Probably killing brain cells. I don't know. All right. Fingers crossed. Let's see if this keeps it from. Oh yeah, happy Valentine's Day. Let's see if this keeps that from flying off. I'm gonna go slow. Hey, it worked. We got a little 1/2-inch ring. I figured it would just blow out the back. All right, let's do it one more time. Oh. Yeah, I got dust collection. It's not the greatest. I got everything plumbed in, but I try not to turn it on during live videos, live streams. But I do if I'm cutting a lot. I don't even turn on my air filter up for live videos. Everybody always thinks it's raining. Coolio. So now we got two identical little rings. Let's take it back to the holder, the paper towel holder. Now we got to make 3 more rings, 1/4-inch plywood. So we're gonna need to make a jig and go to the bandsaw. Now actually, the first ring is gonna be 1/4-inch plywood, but I'm just interested to see how centered these holes actually are. It's off just a hair, but you can sand it out. But it's not gonna be the. All right. Shoot, it's not clean at all. It's just really bright. So, a few weeks ago, I made this hammer at the bandsaw. I do not have a lathe. And I made a jig. These Miles Craft fingerboards, or feather boards, whatever they're called, have this miter gauge guide. So I'm thinking I can use this guide rail to make a jig for the bandsaw. So what I'm going to do is try to find a way to attach this 1/4-inch plywood to this guide rail. I guess I could just a couple holes, it doesn't matter. So this circle is kind of a fixed point, so we'll mark there. We'll just mark 1. I would stay there for stability. Let's make a hole big enough to accommodate that. I'll try this one. It's big enough for the threads, but it's small enough to keep the head from hopping through. I don't think, my first thought is I don't think I need to countersink it though. We'll assemble it, install it, and see what happens. I'm making a paper towel holder. My name's Chris. Pretty common name. Massive tear out. Paint grade plywood. There we go. There we go. How far is that from my... So I need to chop off. I'm going to take this back to the miter saw and chop off. About yay much. So we'll go back to the miter saw real quick. This might actually still be too big. All right, we'll find out though. Nope. Make you guys a little taller here so you can see. So once I get this installed here, I'm going to cut it with the blade and then measure out the distance from where the blade cut and install dowels. This is a resaw blade, so it's not like I can spin a perfect circle with it. I'm not going to change the blade out because I hate changing the blade on this piece of crap. Now these will actually get so tight that I won't be able to slide this. So the key is to get it as tight as you can and then back it up just a hair so you can still slide it. See, it's nice and snug. Let me go grab my water. Oh, and plug you in before my battery dies. where I want to put the dowels. I did a little math earlier. Because I want the next 3 circles to overhang the paper towel holder on each side by like 3/8 of an inch. I guess I can take this out now. So that's ring 1. And one at 1 3/8. Oh, the tri-square thing you're talking? Yeah. I never know what to call these. And then 1 3/4. Just gonna do this here. And then we're gonna have to cut 3 we're gonna have to cut 3 chunks of 1/4 inch plywood here in a minute. So I gotta get rid of some of this blowout. This paint grade stuff, man, that outside veneer is so thin. Alright, so we need 3 chunks of 1/4 inch plywood that's about This is actually moving a lot faster than I thought. I was afraid this was going to take hours. Now I am going to paint this. So unfortunately I'm not going to be able to glue this all up today. But we'll get to see what it looks like finished. So the biggest ring is going to be, what, 3.5 inches? Actually, I just need to cut. So that one's big enough, so I just gotta cut 2 chunks. I'm in my 40s and my memory is crap. Alright, so we're going to turn these blanks into circles. We're going to do that by putting dowels in these holes. Alright. So we got our 1/4 inch bit. We're going to super glue a dowel into our jig, slip the blank onto the dowel, and cross our fingers. But I don't want to super glue a dowel and a jig to my bandsaw, so we're going to super glue it over here. I hope this is a 1/4 inch bit. I just realized it may not be. Alright. Let's grab our jig. I'm going to super glue a dowel in here. It's a little loose, but you want to put glue on the down activator in the hole. Well, I almost super glued my finger to the jig. Now we got our jig. Slip our blank on there. Well, thank you, sir. It was an unfinished garage when I started. It took me 2 summers to... It was a dungeon. It had 1 4-foot light. Only drywall on 2 walls. So like I said, I'm not going to be able to completely spin the blank and make a circle because this is a resaw blade. It's very thick and not very nimble, and I don't have a scroll saw. So what I might have to do is probably for a while just slide this back and forth like this until it's a workable blank. All right, let's hope this works. dowel. Might have to flush the back of that dowel. How the hell did I manage to get it stuck? There we go. I mean, it's a resaw blade, so it's a pretty gnarly cut. I don't know if it's gonna come through, but see how jagged that is? I'm gonna have to sand that to clean it up, but I wonder if I could put iron-on edge banding on that quarter plywood. That's so little. Do you think it would work? So let's see what we got so far. Actually, we cut 2 more of those and it's basically done. So we're gonna cut 2 more 1/4 inch circles. And like I said, in order to get these painted, I'm going to have to pre-finish them, like paint them and then glue it together. But you guys are going to see what the finished project looks like today. And I'll disassemble it, paint it, glue it together, probably share a photo of it. And actually, I'm going to make a French cleat holder for it and put it on my back wall somewhere. All right, let's cut another circle. We got 2 more to go. We're only 47 minutes in, man. We're cooking with gas. Okay. And just remember, we got to move our dowel. Let me grab my flush cut saw. It's gonna be a weird angle here. A hole saw, I agree. I have only one hole saw. And each ring is going to be progressively larger by 3/4 of an inch. I thought about that, but I also didn't want to, I don't want to go out and spend, $40 on hole saws. Kind of broke right now between the holidays, birthdays, and Valentine's Day. Next, I gotta take it out and do the back. Go buy a kit. How much are kits? No, actually, I didn't realize how dangerous hole saws are. So I went and bought, what is it, like a 3.5 or 4-inch one, and cut a hole in my bench back there for the miter saw for dust collection. Yeah, Harbor Freight does probably. So I slapped a 4-inch hole saw in my drill, and when that thing bit into the wood, it almost broke my wrist. Like I said, this is just a hobby gone wild. 90% of the time, I don't know what I'm doing. Just gotta learn. Don't break your wrist with a hole saw. I need another dowel. Try to get this one a little more flush with the bottom because it kept snagging on that center plate. I thought it was going to throw off that first circle. Dude, I love this stuff. Do any of you guys live near a Rockler or a Woodcraft? Spade bits. Grab this. All right, let's see. What I might do is freehand to cut this down a little more in size, because it keeps snagging on the, these kept interfering. So this next circle is 2 3/4 inch, so. That was another issue I had with the last one. So it's going to be 2 3/4 inches. One, two, three. Something to make this a little more manageable as I spin it. Should make this a little more manageable. That last one got a little tricky when it came to the jig handles getting in the way. Pretty snug. One more to go. Hey, you're up there in Washington. Can you see the Space Needle from there? Probably too many mountains and trees. What's going on, Giovanni? I wish I knew Italian. That accent is intoxicating. Let's clamp this down. Dude, as much as I use dowels, I should probably invest in one. Because I was thinking about the supplies I needed to finish this today. And I thought I almost had to go to Lowe's to get a long 1/4-inch dowel. What is it, just a jig with holes in it and you run the drill through it? I could see that. If you can't clamp it down, it wobbles and probably makes funny shaped dowels. So our last circle is going to be 3.5 inches wide. Yo! Ooh. I don't really have that much room to take off here. This one might just be a pain in the butt. Yeah, this is going to be a pain because it's going to run into the jig handles quite a bit. I didn't plan that out. Even the finished circle is barely going to clear the little knobs. Oh well. Wooden tires for like a buggy, horse and buggy. You need a pretty big bandsaw, pretty big throat on it. I'm just testing how much it slides. If I loosen these too much, the jig wobbles. All right. Right on. Last piece. Do you gentlemen ever make anything live? And then I'm gonna, after I glue this together, I'm gonna flush cut that off. So we made this entire thing with just circles. I mean, it's plywood on the bottom, but it's all circles. We made it with no lathe. So what all did I use? What did we use here? So we used a drill, clamps, a miter saw. But I mean, really, the miter saw you could use, you just use a handsaw because all we did was kind of. Oh, we did use the router and the circle jig to make the bottom. And then a bandsaw. So you do, I mean, you do need a few tools. Drill, router, bandsaw. I mean, I got my router for $100 off Facebook. The router's about $100. And a drill. So yeah, I mean, that's not too bad. It's hard to believe this could actually be. I mean, I look back at all the crap I made before now, but I mean, with those tools, that's a router, a bandsaw, and a drill. And you make something like this. You know, like I said, I don't do this for a living. It's a hobby. Gone wild. So I started the channel to give myself reason to push myself and try new stuff all the time, but then it also kind of think of it as like an inspirational thing because I'm a stooge. I'm out here, I don't know what I'm doing most of the time. If I can do it, anybody can. So I think that's where I'm gonna wrap this one up because I'm gonna pre-finish everything by painting it and then glue it up. And then in the next day or two, I'm gonna make a French cleat holder for it, and you'll see it back there. But this is why I made the thread, because I knew if I made a top like this, putting hardware in the middle of it would be too hard. So that's why I made. I'm gonna put some dry lube on this thing too. I knew it'd be a lot easier to put the hardware in the bottom of this rod as opposed to the top. It's a long thread. How long's the thread on that thing? What's happening here? Well, we might have a problem. I think it's just spinning in there. There we go. Because I knew it'd be easier to put the hardware in the base than to put the hardware in the middle of that mess. I know somebody asked me that when I first started streaming this. Oh, this is, uh-oh. I didn't think this through. Here we go. But yeah, I'm gonna paint it off camera, glue it up. I'll post a picture of it because I've done live streams of like me finishing projects with like paint and oils and stuff, and nobody watches them because it's watching somebody paint is like watching paint dry. So yeah, I might actually do that, Aaron. That's what I was thinking. I need to get a new grinding plate for my air compressor so I can zzz, cut that off. Look how many times I gotta spin this damn thing. There you go. But yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting the channel. I appreciate it, guys. If you're, I know I'm following Mike. I gotta check out Mattingly and Cordova. It would be nice to snap it in. But I'll write that down. Mattingly 1217. Aaron Cordova. So if you guys are ever live online, I encourage you to do it. It's fun. You guys get to watch how stupid and silly I am. But yeah, thanks for watching, supporting the channel. Have a good Saturday.